boycott activities. But it's a human institution, so definitely there will be hitches.
Of NDC, really? Are you sure? Okay, so and then Baba again says that the doctor ticket is already setting tongues wagging, guns blazing, and sending shivers down the NDC spine. Okay, if you say so. Nick Papo is going to answer that, whether or not it is. And then George Ampofo says that Wilberforce, we are right. You discovered the star analyst Dr. Zato, and I have congratulated Asase and you for such a refreshing addition to the media space. Okay, we take it. After this one, we claim it. We take it. Okay, so Ni, quickly on this topic, someone says I should find out from you if Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe's choice as running mate is sending tongues wagging, guns blazing, and sending shivers down the spine of the NDC.
I have stated quite categorically that this is a pair that is going to spend time in a position. I think the minimum they will spend, that the worst case scenario will be 4 years. That means that if the NDC comes to power and we don't get our act together in terms of practice, and if you remember, I'm one of the few people that have been discussing the post-John Mahama transition. And I've been saying that it provides for us the biggest challenge as a political party, because there must be a way to transition from the known to the unknown. And what this process has done for the NPP is to give them a ticket for the future. You understand? Unless God calls in these two gentlemen, naturally, it means that they are young and they can probably pursue the political manifesto for the next 20 years. But I predict that this ticket probably will be in the position for a minimum of 4 years. If the NDC gets its act together, then at least for the next 16 years, this pair will be in the position. So they need each other. I mean, you will need somebody to be with you in the process, in the world that as you see the face of the Lord. So I cannot see how this would be a problem. I think the problem, however, for the NDC is if we go to sleep on what we must do in the Eastern and Ashanti region. That for me would be there. Because it means NAPO can rally the Ashanti region. The biggest headache for me, I think, is his relationship the regional chairman. You see, sometimes people may be in the same party. They may have the same objective, which is to win power. But because of personal issue, because one person may say that as the accounts will say, the other can go and the end over. You understand? And so then, rather than let us work together to gain power and maintain power, if you are going to be vice president, you already need to then forget it. I'm going to undermine you. So people have to watch. And I believe that the intelligence team of the vice president, as the black belt, will keep a keen eye on activities in the Ashanti. So that for me is one of the weaknesses. If they're able to overcome that, and then are able to overcome probably party, sometimes the problem with the ruling party is after 8 years, your own members become disillusioned. They have complained. They have, so if their own party members do not turn out, if the turnout is low in Ashanti, then I know that will be a good day for them. So that is the primary task of NAPO, to go around the entire Ashanti region and rally and equip up enthusiasm for the party. If he's able to do that, if the NPP is able to do an 80% turnout, fantastic. But I think that will be very difficult for them this year. One day probably will be broken at this. And that's why I keep predicting that this whole campaign of the NPP and Dr. Bawumia is geared towards setting themselves up for 2028, where they probably believe that they have a better shot because they think that look, Don Mahama is going to do 4 years. The economy is locked in an IMF program in 2027. There is no way that the inflationary issues and the forex issues are going to change much. A lot of the factors hurting the economy now are not within the control of government. Even if the government can, perhaps what they can be able to do will not be that much. They don't anticipate that there will be a drastic economic shift between now and 2028 to garner the favor of Ghana. So if anybody is authenticated, I'm sure they'll be thinking and looking at the fact that worst case is that even if you this is a ticket that can hit the ground post December 7th. And so I think that they've done a lot of planning. I think they've cured one issue, which is a post-Danado transition. Clearly now, the party is in the position to prosecute a post-Danado, and Danado can now gradually, go to the background and that hasn't done his term. So it is, it doesn't put fear in the NDC. I don't think so. I think that NAPO has a lot of negatives. I keep saying that if you want us to get, are we able to analyze the character now?
Please go ahead.
Okay. So let me take a few of him. He made this famous statement when it came to he said that I believe in Parliament. I want to laugh about it, but I'm not going to have quoted him. He stated that he stated this about the Kita Defense Project.
I'll be happy if you lift your voice a little bit. It looks like your voice a bit low. Yes.
Yeah, it's because it's morning here. I didn't want to cut. Okay, so NAPO publicly threatened to lead a demonstration against the budgetary allocation that project. You understand? So he has a deficit when it comes to being able to appeal. I think probably one of the things to do is to go to the Volta region and see the chief of staff and apologize for that particular. So that particular case was completely, uncalled. And I think that was not the best. So it is if the NDC can devise a strategy that goes to, if they can get under his skin, because he has a very thing, that's the truth. You remember when there was asked about the issue of the Dunso and said that people should prepare their own timetable. He has a very light thing. He easily gets irritated. So it's up to the NDC and its communication team and the strategic team of the presidential campaign to be able to draw him in the respect of some of these matters. Because if they are able to draw him in and, push him, he's one person who will respond. And, as the doctor said, he's supposed to be the attack dog. You like it or not. Dr. Baumia was the attack. And we are not using the word attack dog negative. Let nobody, misconstrue the word attack dog. We're not saying that it's a dog. No, please. What we are saying, we are just using that. He's going to be the firebrand, you understand? The one who leads the attack in terms of prosecuting the agenda. And that exposes him to respond. Because you remember his name was Massimano Train, the NDC Fafa, John Mahama, Massimano Nano Train. He can't, you know the thing about people who can resist everything. So you know that the person's favorite, maybe his favorite item is there. It's like you are a diabetic and you see chocolate and your weakness is chocolate. You understand? Dr. Napo has a weakness. His weakness is his inability to resist attacking the former president and the NDC in general with very sharp retort. You understand? And so he is supposed to be a vice presidential candidate. You are supposed to have a certain measured approach towards doing things. You can't talk like you are 25. That's the difference. And I think people must appreciate that. Even though you are supposed to be the lead attack person, your attacks are supposed to be based on policy. So, for example, yes, you can argue that during your time, you have largely kept the light on. But where you are, somebody responds and says that you are a very arrogant person, and now when you were asked about admitting the fact that you lied through your teeth and said them to people. So you don't have integrity. You see how hard I have put these facts. Napo will not take such this thing easily. He will respond. You understand? And the response now makes him look unpresidential. So his communication team, he needs a communication team that will manage him. You see, that's the problem. He is not used to be managed. This is somebody who has been a minister, he's been an MP, but he's not managed. He's the ultimate say. He has the ultimate say when it comes to his communication. At this time when he become a vice presidential candidate, the presidential team needs to create for him competition team who will give him talking points and who will insist that he must stick to those talking points and he must change his tone. You understand? So that now when he's attacking, let's say Professor Nana Pokwaji, for example, remember the famous incident where he literally abused Professor Nana Pokwaji. Very, very harsh and abusive way. That is not our culture. But for somebody who is old enough not to be his mother, is elderly, you don't attack her in that way. So that was so his strength is also his weakness. You understand? And so he needs to be managed. How the presidential team will be able to get good managers, communication managers to manage his utterances. You understand? To be able to tell him that the same things that work for you in terms of your approach should now be tailored, you understand, in a presidential manner. So that's the difference. You are no longer a minister, you are no longer an MP, you are a vice presidential candidate. And so you must begin to speak for presidential. That is the difference. That is where, even if you notice the main candidate is Dr. Bawumia of 2000, when he was first nominated, it's not the Dr. Bawumia of today. He had to go through political school from the time he was nominated to the presidential petition and all that. He has gone through a transition. And so that is how Napo has to go. He will fumble. There's no truth about it. But the problem is, or the key point is how to get persons to manage him in a way that his fumbling will not cost a ticket. Now, he cannot go and be making unguarded tribal statements. You do that, you lose votes. He cannot be deemed or seen to be disrespectful. So you cannot be seen attacking the former president, like saying that you had people to go and bring parents to come and demonstrate at the Independence Square. You can't make unfounded allegations. You have to learn how to, navigate issues to do with being rash. You understand? You can't just get up and talk. You understand? You must show respect. So it's not about the kneeling down pretense. No. Now people are going to examine whether you are truly humble. You understand? So he needs to be managed. And I pray that he's able to. The former Bishop Obama says that when you get into political office, it amplifies your internal behavior. You understand? So it is not the office that will now change you. It is actually who you are that actually gets illuminated when you get the position. And so I wish him well. I mean, I am not one who will say that if God has granted you an elevation, you should not be congratulated. No, you have to congratulate him. But I think that he needs to be managed. And I pray that he managed well.
Okay.
And I pray that he becomes a good partner to Dr. Bawumia during their exile in opposition. Yeah.
So Mr. Alex Aban and Dr. Jato, and I believe Mr. Jantua all have reactions to your comments now. Let me do it with Mr. Aban first before I read some messages. Just
a quick one. Ghanaians are very comical. J and J, John and Jane, Mahmoudou, M and M, Mahmoudou and Matthew. Will it be Alan and Abu, A and A?
Which Abu is that?
Abu Sakara.
Okay, yes. Council.
Thank you very much. It appears to me that my friend Nick Papo did not see anything good in NAPO. He only had a litany of wrongs he may have committed. Right? And if that is the case, you should sing hallelujah because you are in the opposing camp.
No. That's not fair. Let me react. That's not fair.
That's not fair.
Yes.
If you recall last week, we did analysis last, and I repeated his strength. I said that he's handled two of the major initiatives of government.
Listening to you now.
Yes, I praised him for it. I said that he will go down as one of the best ministers in respect of being able to implement the controversial policy. Because if it had failed,
that's fine because
none of those governments would have failed. So I actually have praised him last week, and I've also said that his ability to keep the lights on, you understand, and able to coin his own doom thesis instead of doom saw is something that he also has to be credited for because he's handled two of the most difficult ministries. So I've always been praising him. If you want to play back your tapes from last week. But today is about analyzing him.
No, it's because I'm coming from a point of ignorance as far as what you did last week is concerned.
Please.
I was not
you can check it. Yeah.
Okay. So
please go ahead, yes.
With that clarification, I think what we must also look at is the fact that when you were saying that, he said he was going to lead a demonstration against the intention of the NPP government to continue with the sea defense wall construction in Keta, and that he was being maybe tribal bigotry or something like that. I don't think that was very accurate because those things were said within a certain context. And so if you had brought the whole background, then that would have made sense to everybody so that we leave the judgment to those who are listening to us. Because I don't think out of the blue, he just said, okay, if you go and do the sea defense wall, I'm going to stage a demonstration. That was not it. There were the background issues of, there were some things that had to be done. He had made some requests for something in Ashanti region which had not been done, blah, blah, blah. He gave a certain history, how some monies which were taken there and all that had been chopped and blah, blah. He said, if you are going to sink money into that thing again and you leave what I have asked for, I'm also going to say the demonstration. It is only to say that, look, if we're going to do something there, make sure that my people also get this.
Or a fair distribution of the national cake.
Exactly. It was within that context. So it is not as though he had any hatred for the people of Keta, and so he's going to stage demonstration for the government's decision to go and do the sea defense wall to protect lives there.
Okay, but the issue about political communication. Usually, if you are vice president and you are in that office as vice president, whenever you are going to speak anywhere, it is scripted, just like the president is scripted. But when you are doing political communication, when you are standing on a stage and you are speaking, most of the time it's extempo. You may have put down some points or the important things you are going to talk about, but usually what we have seen in our political space, political communication is usually very extempo and you will be out there to say things. Should people decipher between politically communicated content as against officially communicated content? And I'm not using the word official lightly.
Let me take a page from his own script. All right. He said that when Dr. Bawumia was made the running mate for Nana Akufo-Addo, he had to be schooled on political communication. This was what my friend himself said. Right? What prevents us, even if he thinks that he lacks political discourse, okay, which would have all the finesse and would not, if I say, attack people and get people, attack people's sensibilities and all that. What prevents us from giving him that education? So that's what I'm saying. I'd like to pick a page from his own script. So with that script, even if he thinks that in his extempore statements, sometimes he is robust and he could be harsh and something like that, which I deny in any way, I don't think that he is going to be found wanting at all in how he's going to make the communication. And he's not going to be an attacking dog in the sense of being insulting. He is going to actually deal with policy against policy, head to head. He would compare the president, the former president, and the current vice president as presidential candidates, right? He would compare his own tenure, okay, what he did, his own achievement, as against that of Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, because thankfully they have all been in that same policy, in that same ministry, and most likely, whatever scripts that were written as policy documents during the period of Jane may have been there for Matthew to look at. Okay?
Oh yeah, he's on record to have come on air with the handing over notes of Professor Jane Nana.
And then he would say, "Oh, you promised to do this, you couldn't do it. I came, I did this. Or you did this one, you failed. I did this one, I succeeded." So let us see how it's going to go. But I can assure you that if the thinking is that he is going to fail woefully in that political communication, it's not going to hold.
Okay, so Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo is on Facebook and he says that is what my late grandmother at Achima Safo always cautioned me when I am being praised by my friends. He said, he's quoting the grandmother, Kofi, when majority hail you, you are woeful. So also, when multitude hates you. So this Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo's message is in support of the comment that you said you made. Okay, so let me just read all these other messages and then I'll come to Dr. Zato and then Mr. Janto. I will wrap up this and go to the judiciary. Ofosuhene says that Napo and Wound to me problem is gone. No two Prempeh College old students would quarrel for long.
I like that one.
Patrick, Ofosuhene, thank you very much for your interesting message. Prempeh College, there's something about there. You know, my mother actually wanted me to go to Prempeh College. And then that time we're in Accra, and they said that, they were not comfortable me going all the way to Kumasi, so we settled for Accra Academy.
So yes.
Like they made a mistake, but it's okay.
But they did true and true.
Is there anything wrong being at Adabi?
Yes, yes. Because if we simply say,
let me tell you,
coming from the other
I am not. I am being at Adabi. Let me tell you what I am. Let me tell you what I am. What I am really is that I am a Naba. Enaba.
Grandmother's son.
I'm a Naba. Yes.
His grandmother's.
Because there are some things I can't say on the radio,
So
but
where Mama B?
I am one of the people who never had a father who took care of him.
Oh, anyway.
So I couldn't have been a father, a dadaba.
So your mama.
So I am a Naba.
It's used here loosely. It's used here loosely, not in this strict sense.
Okay.
Is there anything
used
wrong
loosely.
being at Adabi?
Okay.
There's nothing wrong being at Adabi.
Okay, so let's go to Tamale. Let's read this one. Please cut the slag and make the long story short. The NDC choosing Mahama as its flag bearer was not still a mistake. Wait until the NDC loses